welcome back guys, Eli here, and on this video we're going to talk about the 10 things that I had to learn before I could make $100,000 a year as a real estate photographer. These tips are super important if you want to grow your business and don't want to be like me where you have to learn things the hard way, but instead you'd rather just skip to what I've already learned the hard way so you can save all the time. So jumping straight into it with tip number one is the gear you shoot with is probably the least important part of the entire business model. A lot of photographers get into the industry and they think that gear is so important, but the funny thing is we've all been told consistently that it's not about the gear, it's how you use it, but then we turn around and think we need all this gear to be able to shoot real estate successfully. So that is not true. I actually made my first $100,000 on a Nikon D3100 with a very cheap lens. So you absolutely do not need expensive gear. If you want to see my full list of recommended gear, check out the link in the description of this video. Number two is the photo quality itself that you deliver to your clients is not even close to the most important thing when it comes to building a business. A lot of people think, oh, I'm a photographer, and that's where you're completely wrong. In the real estate media and real estate photography industry, you own a service business and your job is to provide service to your clients. One part of that is the photos you deliver, so they have to be good enough, and we truly mean good enough, we don't mean bad, but there are so many other things you have to do. Your clients have to like working with you. They have to be able to trust you in front of their sellers, and in our case, we grew really quickly because we were willing to serve them by, if the house wasn't perfectly ready, spending 10 or 15 minutes every shoot tidying things up. We have a lot of competition who has a we won't move anything policy because it's not their job, and guess what? They're not their clients either. They've all come to my business, and that's how I've been able to build a big business quickly. It is all about service in the industry. The more you serve, the more your clients are going to serve you by staying with you for the long term, and more importantly, referring you to other real estate agents. It's a tight-knit community, so if you're well-liked and you're easy to work with, you will be referred like crazy. And again, your photo quality isn't what's driving those referrals. It's the relationships you've built with your clients and your service to them that makes them like working with you. Number three is, like it or not, there is a market price for real estate. And so if you price yourself too high out of that market and think that your photo quality or something else you're doing is going to allow you to charge that, you're probably going to be pretty sad. Now, within each market area, there is a different price. So, for example, my business operates in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. Our market rate is dramatically different than Seattle's market rate, or the Bay Area, or New York City, or even in middle market Ohio. There is a different range in every area, and if you're in that range, you'll have a much easier time growing your business. Now, the key here is not to be at the bottom of that range. The goal here is not to undercut everybody to the point where you go out of business because you can't run a good business with such cheap prices. It's to see what that market range is by looking at your competition and then being somewhere in the top 25 to 40% of that. There's no reason to be in the lowest side, but you also shouldn't be 3 times higher than everybody else, or you're probably not going to get any business. And again, real estate photography is a volume-based business. Number four, you do not need to add a lot of complexity into your workflow. A lot of real estate photographers, especially those that teach online, talk all about Flash, and here's the real truth. You do not need Flash to build an awesome real estate photo business. And I know that because I've done that with my business. We have not used Flash except for like twice in the last 10 years, back at the start when I thought I needed it, and we've still done millions and millions of dollars in real estate photo shoots. And I'm not saying this to tear down everybody else out there that thinks you need Flash, but the truth is my business has done far more business than those people who are saying you need Flash. So while there may be specific cases if you're doing really high-end architectural photography or serving a very specific client base that you think that you need Flash, the reality is if you're just trying to make money as a real estate photographer, absolutely ditch the Flash and ditch anything else that makes your workflow complicated and time consuming. The goal is to shoot the average house in 30 to maybe 45 minutes if you're just starting. So adding a bunch of stuff into your workflow just makes it take longer. It makes you make less money per hour, which is bad. Number five is that getting clients is your most important job as a real estate photo business owner. A lot of people, again, get into photography and spend all the time on the photo side of it, but that's not really what grows your business. That will keep you in business, but what's really important, especially at the start, is spending as much time as possible on client acquisition. I use a strategy called the Instagram method, which is what I've taught everybody who's joined my course, Real Estate Photographer Pro. And so that's what I recommend, but whatever you decide to do a lot of it. That is what will grow your business. If you want to learn more about the Instagram method specifically, check out the workshop linked in my bio because I cover that and a bunch of other things, and it's absolutely free. Number 6, you should outsource all of your photo and video editing. A lot of new photographers think that editing is just part of being a photographer, and the truth is it's part of being a broke photographer. Editing is not a high value task, especially when you look at the things you could be doing, like spending time getting more clients or spending time actually shooting houses. Editing is like the least valuable thing you can do, and it is very easy to outsource in real estate photography because there's kind of a generic style. You won't really have your own personal style when it comes to shooting real estate. And so there are tons of editors who will be able to take that off your plate for probably less than $1 per image or less than 40 bucks a video. That is a good use of time, and growing a successful business is all about maximizing the amount of time you spend on high value tasks and outsourcing or delegating the low value tasks. So outsource your editing. Number 7 is you must have good systems if you want to grow a good business. So where a lot of photographers go wrong is they deliver photos through Dropbox and they send notifications through email and they send invoicing through a different service. The goal here is to get everything into one system and make sure that that system that you choose is good. Now, the great thing about real estate photography are there are a bunch of great business management systems that are specifically made for real estate photographers, where you can deliver through the system, invoice your clients, auto schedule, and a bunch of other cool stuff. We at our business use HD Photo Hub, and that is an awesome company. There is a coupon in the email below that if you use it when you sign up, you'll get $60 worth of free credits at HD Photo Hub. Again, that's the company I use and recommend, but there are others like Ario. Number 8 is you must maximize your likability. Again, we are in a service business, so the more your clients like you, the more clients you will have, and the longer those clients will stay with you. Where a lot of people go wrong is they get into it with their clients over little things like maybe photo rights, which we'll talk about in a second, or they're just generally unpleasant and not easy to work with. Again, you are in business to serve your clients, not the other way around. There are a lot of photographers who set up their business and all their processes very self-focusedly, and then they wonder why they never grow, and they end up in this cycle where they think real estate agents are cheap and hard to work with, and it's this self-fulfilling cycle because no one wants to work with them, pay them premium prices, or continue a long-term relationship, and then they think it's the industry, but the main problem is it's them. And number 9, which number 8 kind of flows into it, is you have to optimize for the long term. The thing with real estate photography is it's much less about how much you get from each shoot, although that is important. It's more about how long you can keep that client and how many shoots you can get out of them. And some of the things I've already mentioned in this video are exact ways that you can do that. You can have good systems, you can be friendly, you can be easy to work with, you can get things turned around quickly and focus on service, right? These are all things that make clients want to stay with our business. And if you look at customer lifetime value, or LTV as it's sometimes called in marketing, that obviously dramatically goes up the longer you keep a client. So everything you do, from your systems to your processes, you should be focusing on keeping that client for the long term. Where a lot of people go wrong is they try to maximize short-term dollars by maybe charging fees if the house isn't ready and they have to clean, or charging cancellation fees. And I understand all that, but you have to think one step further ahead. Don't think about, oh, this inconvenienced me today because they canceled last minute. Think about the longer term thing, which is how do I keep this client for the next 5 years? Because if you can keep clients that long and longer, you will build an awesome business. It is just a matter of time. But if you look at other photographers who are constantly churning clients, you'll find things like late fees and exorbitant mileage fees and shooting after hours fees and Saturday fees and late fees and cancellation fees and all this other stuff that just makes it not fun to work with that client. And if you look at the photographers out there that are constantly churning clients, you'll see that they do the opposite of this. They're always charging cancellation fees or have annoying processes in place, or they're hard to work with, or they're always booked super far out. They're not thinking about the long term. And if you do that, you automatically won. And number 10, which is my favorite tip of them all, your photo rights as a real estate photographer really are not worth anything. And I know when I say that, it's pretty controversial. There's a bunch of people who say, no, I've sold photos before. Here's the thing. The people that are focused on photo rights and what that means to their business and the ability to sell them are the people who have small businesses. The biggest real estate photography companies out there know that photo rights don't matter. So when you have a client that comes to you and they're saying, hey, my brokerage requires you sign this agreement that gives your photo rights to me, who cares? They're paying you for them and you're never going to resell them. And I think we're so conditioned in the photography industry to think we're being taken advantage of that we often take advantage of ourselves. And again, there are photographers who make money licensing their real estate photos to companies. And I'm not saying it's something you can never do. I'm just saying you should never lose a client over your unwillingness to give your photo rights to them. A lot of the times they don't understand that they don't own the photos, and so even taking it one step further and not getting into arguments with people who don't understand that will mean everything to your business, because again, it's not always about being right. It's about building a big business, and sometimes you have to side with your clients, even if that's not how the law is written, because it doesn't matter. You are there to serve your clients. And again, I know this is controversial, but I remind you of one fact. The people that license their photos and would tell me I'm stupid all have smaller businesses. And I'm not saying that because I'm great. I'm saying that because I care about my clients and I want to build a big business. And fighting your clients over photo rights is a great way to lose clients. If you want to learn more about real estate photography and how to build a real estate photo business, I highly encourage you to check out the workshop linked in my bio. It's an hour long and it's like a masterclass in getting started as a real estate photographer. So watch that now and I'll see you in the next video.